First off, good day? Good day? Yeah. Yeah, it was a great day. Thank you all for coming. Thanks for being here. Thanks for adding to the whole conversation and everything. I know I came away with a lot. I had some great individual conversations and I sat through some amazing presentations. The two highlight presentations for me, I love the CRM presentation up there. We were all crammed in. There were like 60 people crammed into a room that fit 20 or something. And Jeff and Meredith, who are developers, did a kick-ass job. I thought they were just awesome. My other highlight was this last presentation on RaceJoy. The PowerPoint skills that were displayed in that presentation blew everything away. I feel so embarrassed to even have a PowerPoint slide sitting up there in comparison. There were just so many great presentations put together by both customers and I think even a couple of folks came in that weren't necessarily customers of RunSignUp to share their thoughts. And then RunSignUp employees did a great job. Oh, my other comment on the CRM presentation, I love the fact that Meredith and Jeff committed to all that functionality. And I don't know why they're still standing in the back. They're not like back at the office coding away. So the first Q&A comes from several different people asking me or asking RunSignUp people. And it's kind of a fundamental question is, what the hell is CRM? So I have a set of 4 blogs. I posted them on Sunday, and the blog posts are, what is CRM? The second blog post is, why CRM? The third blog post is, what is the vision for RunSignUp's CRM? And the final blog post is, why you want to have a race-specific CRM so that you can do stuff together. And because I wrote them, and I'm extraordinarily egotistical, they are really good. They aren't that bad, actually. CRM stands for Customer Relationship Management. It has been around since the early 90s. Siebel was a company that existed back in those days, and I think they were really the first people that really popularized the term CRM. There were a couple of PC types of applications around the same time, maybe a little bit before, but the cool thing about being 61 is that I've been around for all that time. So the RunSignUp CRM is actually the 6th major CRM I've been a part of. It's basically how you can interact with your customers to both satisfy their needs and to maximize your revenue. So what we did, Meredith and Jeff and Allison and I sat together Friday last week, and we came up with this high-level graphic, and I think it's actually a pretty decent graphic. We may adjust it as we go along, but the first part of it, the foundation of this, is basically your race day experience. It's your brand, it's your message. If you sat through, Ryan Callahan and Andy Riley's presentation this morning on marketing, that's really what they were saying. They gave all sorts of great ideas about, Facebook and email and marketing and stuff like that, but you got nothing unless you've got something to deliver and sell, right? And so that's your very foundation. And if you think CRM is going to provide some sort of magic, it ain't going to provide magic. The details is in like the stuff that Andy Harris went through in his presentation on what it takes to do a race. It's all those details and get them right so your customers have a great experience and that you've got a race that is meaningful to the people that are participating in it. So take that as your base foundation. So the next layer up is really the data. It's all the information that exists about your customers. And in the early days of CRM was targeted for higher level sales. So it's where the average selling price is higher, and you really gave it as a tool to your sales force to engage with customers more productively. But like when your salespeople are going out and making calls on those customers, they needed to know about those customers and needed to track their interactions over the course of a period of time. But those salespeople typically would interact with, tens or hundreds of customers at the most, and the average ticket price was $10,000 or $50,000 or $100,000, right? And so what CRM to races is kind of a lot different than the old style CRM stuff. I've been a part of a number of software companies that use Salesforce, very advanced. So I'm on the board of CloudBees now, and we probably spend about $1 million a year on Salesforce, Marketo, license fees, and customization and training and stuff like that. It's a serious investment, but CloudBees has a much higher average selling price. Our selling price in this room is $25 to $100. Maybe you get $150 for some of you, but not many. So the idea of having that CRM database is kind of different than that high price selling type of thing. And what you want to try to do is you want to try to take as much information as you can and collect it and coalesce it and then filter that out and do that with as much automation as possible, because you don't have, it's just not worth it to invest time in an individual participant. You want to make those individual participant interactions as quick and efficient as possible, because you do have to interact on an individual basis sometimes. But you want to really take that data that you have, whether it's the photos or the results or when they registered, or whether they use coupons or who they referred or who their family members are or who their team members are. You want to take that and leverage that above this. The next layer up is really the two types of interactions. So interacting with your existing participants, you want to make sure that their requests are getting service. And you want to outsource as much of that to them and make that self-service possible, because you're talking about a $50 average price. So you can't afford to have people dedicated to going after them. The other side of the side participant management is this idea of promotion. And broadly speaking, there's two types of promotion. You want to take those past participants and figure out how you can make your race viral. And there's lots and lots of ideas, and lots of ideas have been shared today to do all of that stuff. And then how do you target new participants? It's that Facebook custom audience stuff and those sorts of ideas that have been talked about today. But basically, that data level gets implemented in functionality. It's the interactions that are happening between your race and your participants. And it's not just participants. Think about your customers as everybody that's involved in your race. It's all your volunteers, it's your sponsors, it's your partners, the running clubs, the running stores, stuff like that, and how you can engage all those different channels, right? And so what we're going to be doing for you in CRM, in very simple terms in this diagram, is we're going to be bringing the power of all that data that is sitting there and making it easy to expose that in those upper layers to all those constituencies that you're dealing with. Is that a decent enough explanation? Does anybody have any questions about that? And like I said, if you read my blog, it actually probably goes on and on a little bit more than that. Okay, so with that, I'll open it up for other questions. What other questions do people have? About RunSignUp, the industry? Yeah?
I guess, are all these presentations going to be like bottled up and put somewhere to?
No, we're going to dig a hole and bury them out back. Yeah, the good ones are going to go up. No. Mine's going to get buried out back. Yeah, they're all going to be available online, and in a couple of the rooms we've been having videos being taped. So we're going to come out with several different iterations of this. But hopefully in the next couple of weeks, you'll see you'll be able to re-watch one. So say you really wanted to attend one and you weren't able to, you'll be able to actually watch the video online. And then all the PowerPoints will get posted to a place that you'll be able to access hopefully in the next couple days. Once things settle down, we've got a pretty full day tomorrow for timers, and then the rest of the week, Johanna might be just recovering, but we'll get them on pretty soon. And then we'll send you all an email and let you know where things are at.
Hey Bob,
Yeah.
I don't have a question, but I just want to say, from my own standpoint, I'm sure most others here, thanks so much for what you guys have done with RunSignUp. This is an incredible company.
Oh, thanks.
Appreciate how the company focuses on the user and creating user tools and features that help us, not being as much corporate focus and building things that you guys want. Also, the guys that work for you, Brian Jenkins, Matt Sinclair, Matt Avery.
Ryan Jenkins?
Brian Jenkins. No,
Okay.
but it's been a great experience. There's been many times when I've called Matt Sinclair and he's been walking to lunch and he's on his cell phone helping me out, and that's been great. When we contact these guys, they don't give us a ticket and say 24 hours we'll get back to you. These guys get back to us, and we appreciate that.
Great. I'll tell you, it's such a pleasure to work here. It really is. It's a kick. It's a hoot. The people that work at RunSignUp have this combination of talent and just interestedness. Like they really do like it. Like Matt Sinclair, isn't going to answer a phone while he's walking to lunch. By the way, he's not always walking to lunch. He and Brian do a lot of walking out in the park across the street from the office. But anyway, they really have nowhere to go. They're just walking around in circles. But for him to answer that, like, that's a personal choice that he's making, right? I talked some about the design of the company, but one of the things about the design of the company is this idea of service, right? And a couple of aspects of that is to try to build a platform that's self-serve, but when customers want help and ask for it, that we're there and we answer it, and we have a zero queue is kind of our philosophy. It may take us a little bit of time to get back to you every once in a while, but we tend to, hire people kind of ahead of the curve of needing them necessarily. A lot of RunSignUp people, when they join RunSignUp, they'll say they're bored the first, 3 or 6 months or something like that, as their bucket of responsibilities kind of fills up. So a lot of it is a conscious decision. One of the other cool things that we've done that you may have been a recipient of is we're starting to try to build a little bit of AI into the system from a support perspective. So we know some of the things that can go wrong in races, and like some of the most sensitive parts of the system. And so if you do things like set up a corporate team or something like that, that raises a flag, puts it into one of our account managers' queues, and they'll actually review how you set it up. If you did it right, you probably won't hear from them, but if you screwed something up, you'll probably hear from them, which is kind of good. It's like, this idea of trying to be proactive in terms of support. It's trying to be, kind of ahead of the curve on that stuff. So it's nice that people appreciate that and think that way. But yeah, we're lucky to work with each other. The other interesting thing about RunSignUp is that we have a lot of very different people here. Like if you go around and talk to the various RunSignUp folks, you'll see that they're different personalities, they have different jobs, they have different interests, they do different things. It's a very wacky type of environment. It's not homogenous. It's not a bunch of everybody's a lax bro or something like that. It's a good feel to the company. Yes.
I got a couple. First one, what do you think about allowing people to review races? Users to review your races? and having those reviews visible, or maybe allowing race directors to choose whether to have those reviews visible.
Yeah, I don't like that idea. The reason I don't like that idea is that, yeah, the question really is, should we have reviews on races? And I don't like that idea because I think that reviews tend to either be very self-serving, or they tend to be on one end or the other, and I'm not sure they necessarily provide a tremendous amount of value. The other problem with that is that it's because we have such a heterogeneous set of races and stuff like that. If runners start to utilize that as a way of, should I go to race A or B, it kind of puts RunSignUp a little bit too much in the middle of being an arbiter of that. It also puts RunSignUp in a position of having to be an arbiter of reviews. So do we give you the ability to take off every review or not, right? So if you see a negative review, can you remove that review? I don't know, it's a slippery slope. There's way too many slippery slopes, you know? And then we're in the position of, how do you moderate that kind of stuff? How do you moderate the language that's on reviews and stuff like that? It just gets really messy fast. You know, I've been around the software world for a long time, and I actually worked with a couple of the VCs that were initial investors in Twitter and Facebook, and I got to talk to those guys all the time, and so I was early adopter of social networking and technology and stuff, and actually started a company around that. And what I came out of that whole experience with is that a lot of people have come up with the concept that they're going to be the social network for something. And I view reviews as being a little bit close to being a social network for something. The fact is that a social network for something is always going to get crushed by Facebook. I've seen countless businesses go out of business because of that. So I have a bias against it, if you couldn't tell. Okay, yeah. It's all my logic, okay. And I talk too much.
I have another juicy one.
Yeah, go ahead.
How do you feel about registering and scoring trans athletes and other non-binary groups?
I love it. I think that people should do it, and it's actually pretty easy to do it. And we have races that do it, and race day scoring is being set up such that, you know, gender is going to be a male-female type of thing just for ease of use and legacy, but it's just going to be just as easy to score a race on a field that you can define whatever your definition of that all is. But I think that's awesome. You know, and especially if it reaches out to certain, communities that feel disenfranchised and stuff like that. Yeah, great. Yeah.
Kind of following up on the review question, but flipping it, how about surveys from RunSignUp out to the race participants, having a little form-based, you can set up questions or radio buttons with numbers.
Yeah, it's a decent idea, and we haven't done it yet just because we have a pretty long list. And I think that, if I look at SurveyMonkey and what you can get from other survey sites, it's pretty damn good. And I don't necessarily see that as being as important. With the advent of CRM, I might see the value of it a little bit more, because then I'm seeing, okay, here's a bunch of runners from my race last year that ranked us a 10. Those are the people I'm going to be reaching out to be my ambassadors next year and be my training captains and whatever else. So I am starting to see a need for it because of this little thing that's coming out. Yes.
This is a comment, not so much a question. One thing that would be nice to see on the race day tools is a demo setup of everything. We go through the briefings, we talk about it, and then there are people who are familiar with them, people who swear by them, people who've never seen them before. It would be nice either maybe in the morning race or as a demo here to see those setups. You can tell the difference between the kiosk versus the app versus check-in versus sign-up, just so we can see it, put our hands on it.
Yeah. You mean about here at the symposium?
Yeah.
For people to try out and stuff like that? That's a great idea. That's a great idea. We'll do that next year. I thank all of you for coming today. Tomorrow we've got Timers Day. It starts at 8:30. Thanks.